everybody. A very good evening to all of you. We say Ayubowan, Wanakkam, and Assalamu Alaikum too. The National Olympic Committee of Sri Lanka is conducting the second OVEP debate at 2020. 20 schools participated. Today is the 5th day, and we have had 28 rather competitions and into the grand finale right now. So it has been a great opportunity. There's been a great experience, and a team that had worked very hard to make that vision a very successful mission is joining us now. Professor BLH Pereira has been the Director of Education Programs of the National Olympic Committee, a winner of the prestigious Pierre de Coubertin Award of Excellence for his services for the Olympic movement from the IOC. Thank you very much, Professor. It's your opportunity to inspire the finalists on this occasion.
Good evening, Harita, and all the distinguished guests and the panel of judges. All I'm saying, welcome to this program. It's a wonderful opportunity for all of us, for me as a learner. Yes, I know I learned many things through these programs. That's the main focus on my side. So, of course, this program is a learning process. In 2007, I had an opportunity to listen to myself, and Mr. Maxwell had an opportunity to participate in a big forum in Holland, which is called Olympism Powered by Youth. So that particular moment, I picked something about the values, Olympic values and Olympic educational values. So I just want to make this whole thing a meaningful affair for our generation, younger generation especially. Then I sat with Mr. Maxwell and we had a discussion in 2007. Can we move this forward as a meaningful venture? Yes, it took a few years until 2017. Yes, we realized that we could take off into that stage. So we had a pilot program in 2017. It's called OVEP Debater Pilot Program, with 20 schools from 2 districts involved. And it was, for my mind, I was trying to interact the students of the school. But at the end of the whole program, I realized, no, it has not stopped there. It has gone beyond that. Because when we communicate throughout our learning process, I asked many times from young girls and boys, from where did you get these points? They were really very interested. They were giving me sources of information where they got. Some, they have spoken to their parents. Some, they have spoken to their teachers in the classroom, friends overseas. And not only that, they have really interacted our active athletes also. So we saw our segment, I saw that not only the debating participant, there is a bigger segment coming up, joining our program, this whole scenario. So it was a learning process for all of us, and we could really spread value systems, Olympic educational values, among the parents, among a community, friends, that we can do a powerful action-packed work. So in that context, we thought all these learning processes. We targeted 2020. Yes, we are going to have a big festival. It's a carnival-like type of a thing, debate carnival in a village. We have already booked and everything reserved for 40 teams to come together, stay like a own home, in that village, debate together, eat together, have fun, and get out. But unfortunately, COVID-19, we cannot do that. So the parents were reluctant to send their kids. So we cannot do that. But we cannot postpone the whole process because our mission was to go on. So virtual setup, virtual attempt is, we have really come out with a very successful answer. We use technology very much. Thank you very much, whole team. There's a hell of a lot that, team behind working to bring this thing live to all of us. So there are judges from various parts, pack of judges, and we have improved many, many elements, not only the content parts. So surely last program, we used to go to the respective district and conducted workshops about Olympic values, but this year we could not do. But anyhow, we have done that part. Of course, we have improved our judging. We must really happy to say Toastmasters involved to check assess our quality of presentation, which is a very important thing. So looking at now as a program, not only program, it's a product of NOC now. I was really fortunate. A couple of years, 1 year ago, we were invited to deliver this project in Asia Olympic Council, in Middle Asia and Far East Asia. So I was fortunate because that's a product that we like to share it with any NOC in the world, because it's a marvelous project where you can interact with young minds. So the young minds go and do its research, come back and tell us something important. I must say, very important thing, one of the contenders or the debaters came out with theories that you can research into a PhD. That heavy in that. One of the girls argued, if you can inculcate bodily learning in childhood, you can prevent doping. Mistake that we don't allow kids to play and take bodily learning young days. So ultimately they grow up, when they're grown up, they look for shortcuts. Yes, doping. So the businessman very happy because they can bring testing here, they can do labs and do all sorts of things. It's a business. So, you can break that. So that kind of target, challenges or arguments were brought by these young kids, not me. Although I'm an academic, I thought, young kids can bring a lot of ideas. That's only one example. There are a whole lot of ideas in this 29 debates so far we have collected. There's academic team working on it. There is a separate research going in Japan. They are listening all these texts, everything. They are taking all the material out and they analyze what they say, young kids, what really say. But I would say this is an educational program. We as NOC, we have a responsibility towards a larger community, not athlete by athlete, but to cater younger generation in our country. So we have tried this program. Yes, there's results coming up. We know that surely this product is going to work. I hope today we have come to the last segment of this whole attempt. So we are happy.
Thank you very much. Yes. Thank you very much. It's your inspiration and your work that has taken this that far. I'm sure at the end of it, we will get a little bit more analysis from your part on behalf of your team. We give this opportunity to a gentleman who's been with us. Mr. Chris Shan is Secretary General, Singapore Olympic Committee, and he is a Development Committee member of the Commonwealth Games Federation. Chris, if you would just get on board and give your views on what this has been so far. Chris?
Hello, Mr. Chris. I think your mic is muted.
Chris, are you around? Kandula, please be ready. In the event we are not having Chris on, we take this opportunity to invite another legend of Sri Lanka. Kandula, you can just play this video and we'll get to it a little bit more in detail.
Okay, I'm unmuted now.
Oh, okay. Please,
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
And I see my friend Brian Lewis there, president of Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you for having me here. Actually, it's a privilege for me to sit through your final. I managed to go through your 3 semi-finals between Good Shepherd Convent, Hillwood College, and your Sirimavo, Bandaranaike, Vidyalaya, earlier, and very interesting. For athletes, it's easy for them to pick up the experiences and of perseverance, of determination, of facing adversities, and in the process, they the ones who absorb the good values of Olympic values and education, they go on to be better people. But like the professor say, how do we bring this to the wider audience? How do we bring this to the bigger ecosystem? And schools, of course, is one of the ways of sharing this and making sure our young will benefit from these values and become better citizens of the world. And we have this in Singapore where we put it in books, but nothing like getting involved in debates and discussing it. Like the good professor said earlier, when you go and do your research and when you debate, you go deeper into the topic. I must applaud the participants who I watched earlier in the semi-finals. I think they would have benefited so much by doing research and going deeper into the topic, into a subject which is often discussed but not easily understood. So I applaud the NOC of Sri Lanka for this project. I think it's certainly something I would love to see started here among my schools if I can get the message through to the Ministry of Education. And I'm sure among the other guests here, like Brian Lewis, we would bring home good lessons from your debating series. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chris Shan. Kandula, I think we have time now to play this video and then get going with our legend.
You are who you are, and we are all different, and we are all unique. We need to embrace it, because if we resist that, then we can't really be ourselves. I'm a woman, and I did climb Everest because also I had opportunities. I grew up in a family where my father didn't say don't climb trees. He actually said climb, and I'll show you how to climb safely. So I was fortunate to have parents who actually encouraged my desire to climb anything and everything. When I came back from Everest, I didn't climb to become the first Sri Lankan person. That was not my goal, right? But that happened. So then I had to make a decision, do I run away from that public space, or do I actually take that and see how much I can encourage other girls and boys and everyone to just follow their dreams. So I feel Everest has given me a public platform now to talk about the things I'm also passionate about, which is simply saying that women and girls can also achieve anything if we are given the same opportunities that men and boys are. I am different from many other stereotypes in terms of whether I look a certain way, the kind of hairstyle I prefer to have, but it hasn't been easy to come to this place. it's been quite a journey. I know that very often people will look at me and stare at me, and they look at me like, are you a boy or are you a girl? Because I don't wear earrings. There's no rule in a book saying that. Even if there was a rule, I would question those rules. I didn't realize that Everest could have the sort of impact it has had. I think I only understood when there was some girls from a school who told me that they were so happy that I became the first Sri Lankan to climb Everest. And I asked him, why do you say that? And they told me, no miss, because you have shown us that girls can also come first. Our sports teacher tells us that boys are always first and girls are second. But these are the kind of stereotypes that we have to challenge and question. I have had privileges in my life because I've grown up in Colombo, I've gone to the best school, so I've had many more opportunities available to me, but I am also a woman. So that also means there have been challenges I've had to face in the kind of career path that I've chosen, in the kind of sports I choose to do. But it's not impossible. It's possible to do that, you just have to keep pushing forward. When there are barriers around you in our society, people will tell you, don't do that, don't behave like that. You're a mother, you're a wife. No, I'm like, you're a person. You're not only a mother or a wife or a daughter. You're a human being, just like anyone else. Don't let societal barriers stop you from reaching your goals.
Hansika, is Jayanti on?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay,
I'm online. Yes.
Just hold on. Jayanti Kurutumpala is a women's rights activist with over 15 years of experience in the field of women's rights and gender equality. She holds a master's degree in gender studies from the University of Sussex in the United Kingdom. In 2016, she became the first Sri Lankan person to summit Mount Everest. In recognition of this achievement, from 2016 through to 2019, she was appointed the Goodwill Ambassador for Women's Rights by the Ministry of Women's Affairs in Sri Lanka. As an independent consultant, she is currently co-creating Delete Nothing, an online platform aimed at addressing technology-related violence in Sri Lanka. Through her work with Chrysalis, she is also co-leading a global team on the prevention of gender-based violence on behalf of CARE International. She's also the chairperson of the Sexual Harassment Complaints Committee of the Sri Lanka National Olympic Committee. We only talk about Mount Everest, but she has summited so much more. Welcome, Jayanti. I'm sure you can be able to inspire our participants.
Thank you so much, Haritha. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you very much to the National Olympic Committee for inviting me today to share a few words. I'm very sorry that I will have to run off after my brief talk, because I am also facilitating another meeting with my colleagues globally. So I've been made aware that today's session is actually looking at, or this particular series of debates, looking at the values of the Olympic, or the Olympic values. And I would like to actually focus on just two of the values, which I felt for me in this journey to climb the biggest mountain. I learned so many lessons through that life-changing journey. And I want to quickly just talk about two of the lessons. So I want to focus on there's one lesson which refers to the pursuit of excellence, right? And the second one, which deals with the joy of effort. So I will first focus on the pursuit of excellence. And I'm going to quickly share my screen. One moment, please, while I do this. So, yeah. Okay, so I'm assuming let me know if you can see my screen. Yeah, let me minimize this one. Okay, so I mean, when we talk about excellence, now you have to understand that for me, this is not something, I guess, I don't know, many people may not think, okay, how can I pursue excellence? But I want to actually talk about excellence in terms of 4 aspects. So when we talk about like, how do you excel in something, right? And for me, when I think about this journey to Everest, one aspect of excellence, or getting there at least, includes the planning and the preparation process. And from the speeches that were already made from the gentleman before me, I could understand already that many of the debaters who were part of this process, many of you all actually have prepared quite a lot. You know, you spend a lot of time on this debate, on preparing and doing your research, preparing your notes for this session. So even with climbing Everest, it included actually quite a long-term plan. This was a childhood dream for me. So climbing this mountain meant that it was important to climb other mountains, because it is the tallest mountain in the world. So you can't suddenly just climb up this particular one. So in 2012, my climbing partner, Johan Piris, and I climbed another peak in Nepal called Island Peak. And then 2 years later, we climbed Kilimanjaro in 2014. And then in 2016 is when we attempted Mount Everest. So that alone, I mean, climbing with Johan alone, it was over a period of 5 years that we trained together, right? 5 years of training together. So before that, we each individually also did our years of training, just because, you know, that leads me to my next point. It's also important to do something that you're passionate about, that you really enjoy doing. Now, for me, climbing, and particularly rock climbing, is something I completely love doing, right? It is a sort of a new sport in Sri Lanka, but there's a lot of scope. And rock climbing itself, so just to explain, I think it's important for you to find something as students. I mean, many of you, you might know what you like, you may not know what you like at the moment, but think about what you enjoy doing, what gives you sort of happiness, what makes you happy, what gives you joy, right? And for me, it has been rock climbing. So ever since I began working, whenever I got an opportunity to travel to another country for a workshop, I would save whatever, like a small per diem that I might have been given, I would save that to go and climb a mountain. So for example, in Thailand, there was rock climbing in Thailand, in Germany, in South Africa. These are all visits I did. I could never afford the flights, right? But because of my work, I was sent for workshops and conferences. I would somehow manage to take 1 day off and just climb, find a rock. Sometimes I would have to take a 12-hour bus ride, save, I might not eat dinner properly, right? I might eat like a Maggie packet to cut down on the costs, or eat some biscuits for dinner so that I can save that money for the bus ticket, just so I can get to, now this is in the Andes, and I went to Buenos Aires for a conference. I had to go to the Andes because I love mountains, right? It was a dream to go there. So it's just about, you know, finding that time to do something that you're passionate about. I've now discovered a climbing community in India, which is close by, at least Bangalore. And of course, in Sri Lanka, once there's a place in Kodigahakanda, once that rock site was developed in 2016, I discovered this place, and I have been going since. Whenever I can on a Sunday, I will drive up there and climb. So this is just to say that passion is also important. Don't do something just because you want to get an award or a prize, or for that sake, for the wrong reasons. Now you have to understand that I did not climb Everest to become the first person. That just happened, right? But my dream was to climb this mountain and come back down safely. But because there was nobody else who had climbed it, and there were 2 of us climbing, Johan had to turn back, unfortunately, because of a malfunction in his oxygen cylinder. And so I became the first person from Sri Lanka to climb Everest. But my goal and my passion was just to climb this mountain. So remember that if you to excel in something, what I have really learned is that if you do something that you are really passionate about, that you really enjoy, you will automatically excel at it if you keep doing it year in, year out, right? It has to be consistent. And I guess if you like something, it's not easy. It's easy to keep doing it, right? So that's 2 things I spoke about: preparation and planning, having the passion to do something and following that passion. And the third thing is also adapting to your environment. Now, this was actually at Camp 3 on Mount Everest, which is 23,500 feet above sea level. it's hard to imagine in Sri Lanka how high that is, but at this height, there is only 1/3 the amount of oxygen in the atmosphere that we have here in Sri Lanka. So when we get to this particular campsite, we have to actually sleep with oxygen cylinders the whole night. And this is not easy. I remember getting to this because if you don't, you don't survive. You will be sent back down the mountain because there's only 1/3, 30% of oxygen at that height. So your body cannot function without the help of an external oxygen cylinder. And I remember when I had to wear this, and this is my tent mate, a colleague from Australia who I met on the journey. And I was in tears trying to wear this oxygen mask because I felt I couldn't breathe. I was suffocating. And she said, look, you better get used to it. Otherwise, you have to go back down. You can't proceed up the mountain. There's no way. And that's when I realized we have to also adapt to our environment. Now, currently with the COVID situation, it's not easy at all. It's really tough. And I'm sure it's really hard as students, particularly. For example, if you're preparing for an exam, the exams are postponed, you can't go to school, you can't cover your syllabus, you can't do your extracurricular activities. Everything is in disarray, right? Our normal routine is out of sync. But we have to adapt. We have to go on. We have to take the precautions that are out there. Social distancing, wearing our mask. You might feel like you can't breathe, but that is the only thing that will also protect you right now. So think of me on the mountain. If I didn't wear the mask, I would have certainly lost my life. If I didn't wear the oxygen cylinder, I would have lost my life. In your case, you can also get COVID, and we do know it is fatal, whatever age you are. So please, you have to also remember to adapt to that environment that you're in, right? And that's not easy, but if you put your mind to it, you can also do that. And the fourth point, here's a close-up of this is in the death zone actually. You can see the Mount Everest on the left-hand side photograph in the background. And we sleep with the mask, the oxygen cylinder, we walk with it for the last couple of 5 days, you don't take it off. So you can't even see my face here. And even the goggles, we have to wear these snow goggles. It's so cold that if you remove these goggles, your corneas can freeze and you can go blind in a couple of days, right? So there's no room for any mistakes. And I think in that sense, that's also, I think, part of if you are looking for excellence, those details are important. And the final point I want to share here is also about you have to also overcome your fears. Sometimes people think that I was not scared when I was climbing Everest, that I was really brave. Yes, I might have been brave, but I was also really, really scared, right? Because I also knew of stories where people attempted to climb this mountain and didn't come back. So it was really scary. And you can see in the photograph here, we have to cross this place called the Khumbu Ice Fall. They're huge blocks of ice. The little black dots are people, right? And then we have to cross these ladders. Sometimes you can't across crevices and you can't even see the bottom of the crevice. It's so deep. So overcoming fears is also something that, is important. You may have fears of public speaking. I, for one, certainly did when I was in school. I would hate standing up in front of a crowd and speaking. But then you learn, you have to find out how to do it, speak to people who are good at it. If you like doing it, you will realize actually you might get good at it if you can improve, right? So these are the points I wanted to share around pursuit of excellence, which brings me to my next point which I will just stop sharing screen. My next point is the second point about the joy of effort. So this I feel is also really relevant to the story of climbing Everest, because before climbing Everest, a lot of people asked me, are you crazy? Like, what's wrong with you? What makes you think you can do this, right? And look at your size, you're so tiny. You may not see it now, but I am 5'1.5" tall. But people said also that they're like, you're a woman. No one from Sri Lanka has done this. Why you're really nuts to do this? People we found it really difficult to find sponsors because no one believed that Johan and I could do it, right? But whenever anyone asks me, why do you want to climb this mountain? My answer always has been, it's because it's also so beautiful, right? It's been a childhood dream. When you're out there, it's like another world. And even though I was scared, it was something that I still really absolutely wanted to do. So I want to end with a small story about this French highline walker. His name is Philippe Petit. And he had this crazy, I think he didn't think it was crazy, but many people did. He had this habit or passion to attach a wire between two very tall buildings and walk across on the wire, like tightrope walking, but 100 feet above the ground, right? Like the Twin Towers in New York, for example, or the Malaysian Towers in Malaysia. And he would have to do it at nighttime because it's also illegal. So he would do this and then get arrested and do this and get arrested. And there was a documentary I watched about his life. And in this documentary, someone actually asked him, why do you always do this? Why do you tempt death, right? Because what you are doing is really dangerous. You could die in this process. Why do you tempt death, right? And his answer was, this is not death, this is life. And that's my answer. I was scared on Everest. I was scared for my life. I wrote my last will because I may not have come back. But I also really wanted to climb this mountain because there was a joy to it. I wasn't just doing it for anything else. It was because there was so much joy and beauty in that space, in that moment, in that journey, along with the hardships and the difficulties, right? So I think that is also important when we think of sports and anything we do. You need to find something that you're happy about, that gives you pleasure and gives you joy. So on that note, I will stop now, and I will wish all of you the strength and courage that you need to climb your own mountains, right? Because life itself is a huge mountain, and with COVID-19, it's actually much harder than Everest. So thank you very much, and have a good evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Jayanti. On behalf of NOC, let me thank you from the bottom of my heart on behalf of my president and the committee for coming online at this time. I know you are very, very busy. Thank you for honoring all of us and giving that inspiration to younger generation, including our former president, former Prime Minister, Mr. Ranil Wickremesinghe. Sir, thank you for coming today, this evening, to see how young kids are doing. You will really enjoy, sir. Thank you. Good luck. Over to you, Haritha.
Thank you, Mr. Maxwell de Silva. We have with us His Royal Highness Prince Abdul Aziz bin Turki Al Faisal. He is President of the Saudi Arabian Olympic Committee, Chairman of the Education Committee of the Olympic Council of Asia, and the Honorable Sports Minister of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Your Royal Highness, we invite you to share your views.
Thank you, Haritha. Dear friend, Mr. Maxwell de Silva, Secretary of the NOC of Sri Lanka, dear brothers and sisters in the Sri Lankan Olympic family. Greetings from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. I am very humbled by your kind invitation to join the grand finale of the Olympic Value Education Program, OVEP Debater 2020. I just want to check, do you all hear me properly, or is the sound?
Yes, Your Highness, you're loud and clear.
I realized that I went straight to it, so just to make sure that the connection is good. On behalf of all the members of the OCA Educational Committee, I would like to express my gratitude to our dear colleagues at the Sri Lankan Olympic Committee for their tireless efforts to spread the Olympic values across the beautiful country of Sri Lanka. And I extend my congrats to all the participants for getting enrolled in this unique experience. Appreciating the beauty that the Olympic movement can bring to our lives, embracing the values of friendship, excellence, and respect. I've been closely following your event in the last few days, and I've been thrilled to learn that 20 schools have participated in the preliminary rounds, preparing a group of ambassadors of Olympic values and aiming to include these values into the school system. We are very proud of our ambassadors. Let this movement be one of inspiration, big dreams and clear ambitions to preach the message of pure Olympicism, a message of peaceful coexistence and fruitful communication among all of us, no matter of all cultures, racial or religious differences. We can all be united. Before I joined the Olympic Committee as an official, I spent the majority of my life as an athlete. traveling between countries and meeting new people who I've competed against, learned from, and laughed with. Sports is a very powerful learning tool. It teaches us that patience is a virtue. Time is priceless. Discipline means success. Teamwork is essential, and respect is the rule, and how to win like a hero and how to lose like a champion. My dear friends and colleagues, you are the hope of the future of the Olympic movement in Sri Lanka and Asia. We count on you, and we are confident that you will be the perfect ambassadors for our movement. I wish that the next time I will be able to join you in Colombo, the OVEP Debater 2020 Grand Finale. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Your Royal Highness. Before you wind up, there's a request from all these girls here saying that we will have the award ceremony once everything is settled down in 2021. There's an open invitation to Your Royal Highness to visit our beautiful country and to honor our school children, these young children. Thank you, sir.
It would be my pleasure. Thank you.
Over to you, Haritha.
Thank you very much, Royal Highness. Thank you very much, Mr. Maxwell de Silva. We have another very important guest, and he's President of the Caribbean Association of National Olympic Committees and the President of the Trinidad and Tobago Olympic Committee. This is Mr. Brian Lewis. Welcome on board, sir.
Good evening to everyone. Good evening to all of you. It's 10 a.m. here, and I must admit I have to leave because I have a 10 a.m. meeting, but I really wanted to hold on for as long as possible to congratulate you all and to endorse the Olympic Value Education Debate series. I think it is absolutely fantastic. And I heard my very good friend originally from Olympia, Christian from Singapore, talk about of it very highly, and the need to copy it. I know they say since imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. It's an absolutely great idea, and I congratulate all of you. I must, however, permit me to acknowledge my extremely good friend, Secretary General Maxwell de Silva, who continues to reach out to all of us in the truest form of the three core values of Olympism: excellence, respect, and friendship. Also the joy of effort, fair play, and the balance between body, mind, and spirit. So it is absolutely fantastic that the NOC of Sri Lanka continues to take the necessary steps to ensure that the next generation of Olympians and Olympic leaders and Olympic stakeholders in Sri Lanka have an in-depth understanding of the three core values of Olympism. As I said again, congratulations. It's an excellent initiative, and I urge and encourage you all to continue it, and my very best wishes to the young debaters. And, as I said, at the end of the day, in the truest spirit of Olympism, it is about competing in a sense of fairness and friendship. And of course, at the end of the day, someone will come first, second, or third, but that doesn't mean anything. You are all winners. So thank you very much, and have a blessed evening and an excellent final. It's good seeing you again, Chris and Maxwell. All the best. I really must leave, and I apologize for that. So thank you very much. Good luck and best wishes from the Caribbean and Trinidad and Tobago.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you for coming. I know you're busy. Thank you for joining and giving your solidarity and friendship and your inspiration. We always appreciate. Thank you for Chris also. Thank you. It's very late now, but he's still there. Thank you, Chris. Okay, over to Harita.
We've had online for some time now a very distinguished personality and actually a legend of sorts. He's been Prime Minister of this wonderful country on multiple occasions. He's been in the past in charge of youth affairs and education. He's at present the leader of the United National Party, the oldest political party in the country. Welcome, sir, on board. Honorable Ranil Wickremesinghe.
Nice to be with you all. And firstly, I think I should talk a bit on debating. Everyone has been talking about the Olympics. I like to see the two debating teams, both girls' schools, and who knocked out the boys' schools, including my old school, Royal College. And now you see Sirimavo, Bandaranaike, and Hillwood facing each other. Well, in a way, debating is like Olympics. It is teamwork, and that's what you excelled in. And that's what's going to help you in your future. You work as a team, you have to think as a team, you have to learn to think on your feet. You must know the width, you must know the repartee. So those are parts of the debating skills. So from what I've heard, it has been a very, very high level. I'm told they both deserve at least a gold medal each. Thank you for the work you've done. I don't know if any of you have ever read the debates in the House of Commons, the repartee between Winston Churchill and Nancy Astor. And Nancy Astor told Winston Churchill, if you are my husband, I will put poison in the coffee. And Winston Churchill told Nancy Astor, if you are my wife, I will drink it. So that's all been part of the game. But more than that, you have given the school system a good knowledge of Olympics. How much the old Olympics meant for the Greek states to come together, and one of the cements that bound them together, despite the occasional fights they had, but more or less to be together to face common challenges. The values that are gone from there and into the Olympic movement are values that are not confined to the Olympics or to the Games. Those are values which all of us have in common life, and that's something that helps to make society decent. So let's, what you've done is a great job. I won't take any more of your time, but to say two good schools and looking at how you all have performed, I would like to suggest, let's look at the possibility whether we can make debating also an Olympic event. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for coming this evening and to inspire our young children, and not only inspire young children, to inspire all of us. I believe you heard what Jayant Tutumpala said. It's all about courage, excellence, and teamwork. So there's always hope. Thank you, sir. Have a nice evening.
Thank you.
Harita, over to you.
Thank you very much. Words from the heart, passion, and he could easily express himself without looking at any script or any preparation, because it's all in his head, and that's the man you have just heard, Honorable Ranil Wickremesinghe. Gopi, I think we are in a position to start the grand finale, that we are indeed in that position.
Yes, once again, let me confirm with the two captains of the teams. Are you ready with your teams here?
Yes, sir, we are.
Thank you. Hillwood College, Kandy?
Yes, we are.
Thank you. Haritha, it's over to you.
Thank you very much, Gobi. First of all, we would say that we are behind schedule, but participants, the idea was to give you a little bit of insight of how important an event you are taking part in. And it is one of those aspects that we need to understand that this opportunity in itself is a golden one and a very rare one that you're just going to experience. Just to say that this is in presentation form, not on speech form. I suppose you are all aware. Just to remind you that you have 9 minutes for the 3 speakers in the regulation speech time. And if you exceed that time, the exceeded time will be deducted from the 3 minutes that is available for the sum up. The panel of judges, they've been marvelous. They are educated, they are experienced, and they are very committed. And Hansika will take this opportunity to introduce our panel of judges.
Yes, Haritha, thank you very much. In the judge panel, we have Mr. Maxwell De Silva, the Secretary General of the National Olympic Committee of Sri Lanka, who has got 25 years of professional sport administration experience. Ms. Harshini Pereira, the head of the department or senior lecturer in the Department of Sports Sciences and Physical Education in Sabaragamu University of Sri Lanka. Mr. Samira Vijay Gunaratna, who has attended the International Olympic Academy and who is an instructor in Physical Education Department in the University of Kelaniya. Mr. Srinath Wijayatunga, the General Secretary of the Table Tennis Association of Sri Lanka. Dr. Vipula Vanigasekara, the Senior Lecturer in Edith Cowan University. Rear Admiral Dr. Shemal Fernando, an academic in sports science and an IOC scholar in sports administration. Mr. Modita Sendanaike, who is a distinguished Toastmaster of Toastmasters International in USA, a lecturer, a trainer, and public speaker. Mr. Jeevana Gamage, who is also a Toastmaster, a debater, a public speaker. Mr. Kapila Jivanta, who is a visiting lecturer in University of Sri Jayawardhanapura and who is also the Secretary General of the National Gymnastic Association of Sri Lanka. Mrs. Buddhipati Raja, a Toastmaster and financial consultant and Associate Director of BDO Consulting Private Limited. Dr. Rohanta Tukorala, the President or the CEO Clutrack in Sri Lanka, Maldives and Pakistan. Ms. Ramya Shivakumar, a Chartered Accountant and Toastmaster and the Director, Company Secretarial and Business Process Solutions. Ms. Chiranas Kenny, the Chief Operating Officer in Clutrack Research Labs in Sri Lanka and in Maldives and Pakistan. Mrs. Lakshika Madhushani, a Senior Lecturer in the Department of Sports Sciences and Physical Education in Sabaragamu University of Sri Lanka and who has also followed Masters in Olympic Studies in German Sport University. Haritha, over to you.
Thank you very much, Hansika, and a big thank you to the panel of judges. Volunteer service beyond any monetary value, and that is what we all appreciate. Okay, just a word about the 2 schools participating. They have got here amongst 20 participants that were involved in the first 2 rounds. Hillwood College Kandy, in the first 2 rounds, they became second best in their respective competitions. But over the last 2 rounds, they have got the better of their competitions. And Hillwood had 86 points in their 3rd debate, which was their highest points scored. In comparison, Sirimavo Bandaranaike Vidyalaya Colombo has had 5 debates, and they notched up 90 points, which is joint top points in this competition in the 2nd OVEP debate 2020. That was in the first round. Out of 5 debates, they had 2 in the last 4 stage. They have won 4. So that means the 2 teams are very well matched. And just a big applause for everybody in that context. Hillwood College Kandy will be represented by Isuri Mapa, Swairi Atukorala, Sanitma Jasurya, and Medini Veerasinghe, with Miss Manoja Sri Ranjan as the teacher in charge. Sirimavo Bandaranaike Vidyalaya will be represented by Rosara Dayaratna, Detuni Pereira, Rovinya Veerakon, and Lasani Korlage, with Mrs. Indira Ratnaika as the teacher in charge. Just to make one thing very clear, there'll be a pause of 30 seconds between each speaker. That is for the judges to give you the marks and points or whatever it is. And straight away, we invite the next speaker. You will have to be ready. Last but not least, this is the topics that they will be focusing on. Hillwood College will talk about Olympic value education should be an important component of global education to make a safe world for mankind. And Sirimavo Bandaranaike Vidyalaya will talk about Olympic value education should be an important component of global education to support democracy in the world. So interesting subjects. Good luck to the two schools. Here's inviting Isurimapa to open proceedings. That's on behalf of Hillwood.
Can I start now?
Yes, your time is start now.
A very good evening, honorable panel of adjudicators and honorable members of the House. The topic that we will be focusing on today is Olympic value education should be an important component of global education to make a safe world for mankind. Let me begin our approach to today's topic by defining the term Olympic value education. According to the father of modern Olympic Games himself, Olympism is not a system, but a state of mind. And the goal of Olympism, according to the Olympic Charter, is to place sport at the service of the harmonious development of humankind with a view to promote a peaceful society. With that, let me move on to define the term global education, which is defined as an approach to learning concepts and skills that is necessary to function in a world that is increasingly becoming multicultural and interconnected. It is about understanding cultural diversity, promoting unity, and protecting human rights. When we look through these definitions, we see the inevitable connection between the two concepts. The concept of global education is already a very suitable approach to achieve a safe world. But as we all know, when we focus on the good becomes better. And that is exactly why we propose that Olympic value education should be an important part, an important component of global education. Because it is a very practical approach. It is about practicing the 5 Olympic values: joy of effort, fair play, pursuit of excellence, the balance between body, will, and mind, and respect. And by adding this practical aspect to the concept of global education, we make the common objective of creating a safe world much more reachable and realistic. My second speaker will be focusing more on this aspect of our topic. Now, how does this lead to creating a safe world, you may ask? Well, the answer is quite simple. Because a safe world is a world free of dangers. Dangers come in all different forms, but they have one thing in common. They are all created in the minds of people. And Olympic value education, together with global education, has that ability to create that healthy mindset in people, the one that is free of all these negative motives. Let me conclude by reminding you that Olympic value education is all about changing oneself before you move on to change the world. As Michael Jackson once said, if you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and make that change. Thank you.
He is inviting Rosara Daratna, the first speaker for Sirimavo Bandaranaike Vidyalaya.
Sir, may I start now?
1 second. Yes, your time is starting now.
Honorable panel of judges and members of the House. At the pinnacle of this event, myself and my team are here to take Olympic value education to its highest level, that is to support democracy in the world. Having said that, I propose our topic. Olympic value education should be an important component of global education to support democracy in the world. Defining democracy, which is the foundation of the free world, we could simply explain it as the rights of the individual, giving them power and the freedom to choose how they are ruled. Fundamentally, it shows the same basic concern for social and political equality. Democracy protects the best interests of the people, regardless of their race, gender, sexuality, religion, or political opinion. As our topic demands, support for democracy is expected through global education. Global education is an approach to learn concepts and skills necessary to function in a world that is increasingly interconnected and multicultural. In other words, it is an overall approach that focuses on understanding other cultures, the history and geography of different countries and people, which is aimed to develop international relationships. To regulate healthy international relationships, democracy must prevail. Therefore, if we are to get support from global education to strengthen democracy in the world, global education must be enriched with a proper methodology to introduce values to the mankind. Recognizing the unique potential of sports as an educational and communicational tool, the Olympic Value Education Program has been evolved as a practical set of learning resources designed to inspire people to experience life values such as excellence, respect, and friendship. That is why we stress Olympic value-based education should be incorporated as an important component into the global education. At present, the educational approaches of global education and the Olympic value education lies in separate paths. The challenge we face is to convince the world communities to accept Olympic value-based education as a major component of the global education. Therefore, our arguments are focused on individual events where Olympic value-based acts have supported democracy, whereby we expect to convince those of you who are part of this debating session and those of you who will come across this session in future, and in general, the world community, of the importance of making Olympic value-based education part and parcel of global education. Over to you.
He is inviting Swairi Atukorala, the second speaker for Hillwood, Kandy.
Can I start?
Yes, you can start now.
Okay. I am standing here talking in the premises of our school in a city in the middle of Sri Lanka. And you are watching me maybe 20 or 30 kilometers away in this very same city. Or maybe 100 or 200 kilometers away in another city. Or maybe even 1,000 kilometers away across great oceans in another country. But we are all here, interconnected, talking, listening, and inspiring. Honorable panelists and the fellow members of the House, I greet you, reminding you of how globalized this world is. And this is why global education is so important. Global education simply is the realization that while individuals have different views of the world, we all have common needs and bonds. And global education is timely, beautiful, and essential. But we still see that disharmonies, conflicts between nations, and tension between ethnic groups. And while USA is one of the most ardent followers of global education, we see ethnic disharmonies corrupting the country. And we can look at the murder of the American citizen, George Floyd, as a saddening example for this. This got me wondering what the missing piece in global education is. And I believe we found that missing piece. This missing piece is the 5 Olympic educational values. And when we fit this in to this puzzle of global education, we complete it. In the 1998 Winter Olympics, the Norwegian skier Jon Daher completes the 10-kilometer classic event. And upon completing his event, he stops at the finishing line and waits. What does he wait for? He waits for his final competitor to finish the race. And who is this final competitor? This final competitor is the Kenyan skier, Philip Boyd. And when Philip Boyd finishes the race, Dahill is the first to catch him and congratulate him on an excellent performance. This is a perfect example for ethnic harmony and the glory in diversity. And if these two men hadn't understood and internalized the values of joy of effort, pursuit of excellence, fair play, respect, and the balance between body, will, and mind, they would never have been able to do this. And this, ladies and gentlemen, are the breed of men and women that will embrace the world if we include the 5 Olympic educational values in global education. And through this, we can ensure a safer world for everyone. And by doing this, as Mahatma Gandhi once said, in a gentle way, we can shape the world. Thank you.
The opportunity is for the second speaker on behalf of Sirimavo Bandaranaike Vidyalaya. This is Detuni Pereira.
May I start, sir?
Yeah, you may start. Your time starts now.
Honorable panel of judges and members of the House. Demos meaning people, Kratos meaning power. Democracy in its foundation is about empowering people. Global education studies culture, geography, and current issues of the world, and Olympic value creates empowered individuals who embody respect, friendship, equality, and excellence to support democracy when issues arise due to cultural and geographical boundaries. In a world where we even look at our own neighbors with suspicions, it's hard to imagine 2 individuals from 2 nations in constant conflict extend hands of friendship and trust to each other. But that is exactly what Rohana Bopanna and Aisam Qureshi from India and Pakistan, 2 countries that have been in conflict for almost 7 decades did. Known famously as the Indo-Pak Express, they are a tennis duo who crossed all boundaries through sports and initiated the Stop War and Start Tennis program to create peace through tennis. They dream of playing a tennis match across the Wagah border between India and Pakistan, with Bopanna on Pakistani soil and Qureshi on Indian soil to demonstrate the unifying power of sports. Ladies and gentlemen, if Olympic values learned through sports can bring together two individuals from rival nations and allow them to demonstrate friendship and respect for each other and their countries to cheer for the same team as one, why not everyone else? This is why we firmly state that Olympic values education should be an important part of global education to support democracy. Let me bring your attention to something I observed yesterday. During the second semi-finals of the OVEP debate organized by the National Olympic Committee of Sri Lanka to spread the message on Olympic values, Ms. Chidibia Eizani, pardon my pronunciation, an international observer from Nigeria, answered a question, as I remember, like this. My country has about 500 languages and more than 300 tribes. But when the national team of Nigeria, be it in football, basketball, or any other sport, comes on stage, we are all proud to be standing under one flag. Nigeria is known as one of the most diverse nations in modern Africa. If these individuals can forget all their differences in language, ethnicity, and race, and embrace Olympic values of respect for others and team spirit under fair play, isn't this proof enough to reassert our topic? Ladies and gentlemen, sports see no difference. It sees no color, race, nationality, or ethnicity. It is equal to all. Democracy is equality. It is empowerment, and the Olympic values education is capable of supporting democracy in the world through equality. Therefore, I reaffirm that Olympic values education should be an important component of global education to support democracy. Over to you.
He is inviting Sanitma Jayasuriya, the third and last speaker for Hillwood College.
Hello. Okay. Is it muted? Can I start?
Yes, you may start now.
Just a moment. I have to add the final touches to my picture that I have here. There. Splendid. Don't you think? Yes. Because it's the final touches that you add to your picture that beautifies it. A very pleasant evening, honorable judges and honorable members of the House. If you look at the 2000 Olympics that was held in Sydney, Australia, the once glorious Olympic career of Marion Jones was tarnished when she admits to have used steroids. There are numerous other scandals as such existing in the world, and yet global education also exists. So it got me thinking, why does so much evil still exist in the world? Then suddenly I came to a conclusion. Yes, global education needs its final touch, and that touch is none other than Olympic value education, where you have joy of effort, where you learn that true happiness lies in the intelligent effort that you put in. Fair play, where you learn to respect rules and regulations and ensure equal rights and opportunities for all. Pursuit of excellence, where you understand that in life the important thing is not the triumph, but the struggle. Respect for others, where you learn to respect diversity and ensure and practice peaceful behavior. Balance between body, mind, and will, where you learn to enjoy the healthy combination of the body, mind, and will. Because if you look at athletes like Harijan Ratnayaka, who represented Sri Lanka at the Olympics, the fact that he did not get selected to the semifinals did not discourage him. Because he played fair, he respected his opponents, he understood that in the Olympics, the important thing is not winning, but fighting well. He enjoyed his journey, and through that, he obtained his joy of effort. But these Olympic values need not be limited into the arena because they are concepts which celebrate humanity. So if these Olympic values are given global recognition and prominence, that by that way we will be able to produce individuals who learn that in life where true happiness is, who learn that in life it's not about the triumph but about the struggle, who will respect diversity and ensure equal rights and opportunities for all. And on that day, the conflicts, the scandals, the ethnic racial difficulties, and all sorts of unpleasant situations which make our world unsafe can be prevented. Because through Olympic value education, its participants learn about the responsibilities of good citizenship. And on that day, we will be blessed with a safe world. So, because Olympic values are not just concepts, they are things which can be applied to each and every aspect of life. So I would like to conclude my speech by saying that if global education is a diamond, the 5 Olympic values are the light that will make this diamond shine and enlighten the surroundings. Thank you.
Inviting Ruvinya Virakon, who will be the third and last speaker for Sirimavo Bandaranaike Vidyalaya.
Sir, shall I start?
Yes, you can start now.
Honorable members of the House, ladies and gentlemen, if we go back in time, democracy and Olympics both see their origins in the holy ground of Athens in Greece. It may be an ancient coincidence, however, the basis of both concepts, Olympism and democracy, equally aim to serve the mankind. If we were to encourage the society to absorb Olympic values to support democracy, first, we must identify the individual occasions where sports have shown its potential, where it can even make dictators surrender their ideologies and respect others and democracy. Jesse Owens, who is an African-American athlete representing the USA, became the spotlight at 1936 Berlin Olympics for his exceptional performance in track and field. As 1936 Olympics was under the authority of Hitler, who believed in Aryan supremacy, the performance of African-American Jesse Owens is actually challenging Hitler's ideologies. And yet, Owens' performance made Hitler forget his personal ideologies for a second and pay respect to Owens, which was witnessed by a newspaper editor. I quote, "Wonder of wonders, I saw Adolf Hitler salute this lad. I looked on with a heart which beats proudly as this lad who crowned king of the 100 meters event get an ovation like this, of which I've never heard before." Unquote. Hitler, an extremist in the world, surrendered to democracy for a single moment in his life. This is the power of Olympic values created through sports. Nelson Mandela, an inspirational leader, addresses about sports values democracy as follows. Sports can create hope where once there was only despair. It is more powerful than governments breaking down racial barriers. It laughs in the face of all types of discrimination, unquote. It further affirms how sports is the ultimate mechanism surpassing regional and cultural barriers. Therefore, we say with conviction that Olympic value education should be the pathway to achieve democracy in the world, uniting regions together by implementing it as a part of global education. By placing a further step forward at the final debate of this OVEP series, we propose that the basics of global education yielded by the 5 Olympic values should be implemented as a subject in primary education, going hand in hand with sports as a practice of lifestyle. It will give them a sense of friendship, respect, and excellence. Ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, if democracy to be applied in the society, we must take initiatives to create a younger generation who practice Olympic values through global education, who, as a result, will support democracy for an entire lifetime. Over to you.
Would like to know the times available for the respective schools for the sum-ups.
Yes, Mr. Haritha. Summarizing time for Sirimavo Bandaranaike Vidyalaya is 2 minutes and 22 seconds. Summarizing time for Hillwood College Kandy is 2 minutes and 39 seconds. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dinky. So, teams, you are now aware of times available. He is inviting Rosa Radharatna to sum up on behalf of Sirimavo Bandaranaike Vidyalaya.
Sir, may I start now?
Yes, you can start now.
Honorable panel of judges, I seek permission to summarize our arguments. You may have noticed that I had to spend extra time defining subtle areas of the topic, as each limb was very important. What I felt was the proper definition of the topic itself echoed the potentials in the 5 Olympic values in using it as a tool to support democracy. We were faced with the challenge of finding the most suitable examples to prove that the application of the 5 Olympic values can strengthen democracy. At the same time, it was more challenging to form our arguments why global education must absorb the 5 Olympic values as a main component in their syllabus. That is why my colleagues trained themselves to demonstrate that all the examples they chose were in right direction to prove that the Olympic values can achieve democracy and that it should be embodied in global education. For example, that is why my second speaker explained the example on In the Park Express across the entire scope of the topic. And that is why the same way my third speaker elaborated on Jesse Owens' Berlin Olympic experience, stressing on the potentials in sport to take the most extremists in the path of democracy, even for a moment. We intended these arguments not only in support of our topic, but also knowing that among the spectators of this session, there are individuals from all around the globe who have the responsibility of implementing democracy in the domestic level, and who operate as diplomats in the international arena, who are bound to adhere to norms of democracy. Our exercise is to convince this House and them to incorporate the 5 Olympic values in global education. We as a team believe that winning this competition is important for us, but carrying the message of the 5 Olympic values as the messenger of National Olympic Committee to the world is a higher obligation. Thank you.
inviting Sirimavo, who will sum up on behalf of Hillwood College.
May I start, sir?
Yes, you can start now.
We all dream of a safe world. But let me ask you, what do you believe will make the world safe for mankind? Well, what we believe is that the world will be safe for mankind when we eradicate the root cause for all the dangers that exist in the world. In other words, the negative human motives and their mindset. But how can we do that, you may ask? Well, the concept of global education is a concept that promotes unity, harmony, world peace, and encourages human solidarity. Well, there you have it. That is exactly what we need to make the world a safe place for mankind. But then comes the big question. Why, if the concept is already introduced, why do we still see no progress? Well, me and my team have brought out today the reason. It is the fact that this great concept lacks the one final touch that will make it the best, the Olympic value education. Because we proved to you with examples of Harijan Ratnayake and John Dayhill as to how the 5 Olympic values, fair play, joy of effort, pursuit of excellence, respect for others, and the balance between body, will, and mind can create and motivate and promote the very same objectives of global education. And the effectiveness of Olympic value education lies within its practicality and the ability to reach a wider audience. Because here we are at the OVEP Debater 2020 talking about the true excellence of Olympism. And look at the audience we've got today. Just imagine how much of an impact we can make on the world when we actually put these Olympic values into action. And that, ladies and gentlemen of the House, is exactly the very objective and goal of Olympism. It is exactly why we say that we should make Olympic value education not just any component, but an important one in the concept of global education. On a concluding note, let me share with you the thoughts of the great Sri Lankan sportsman Kumar Sangakkara. All Olympic values are embedded in the true spirit of cricket. And that is why I consider cricket to be a very special sport, because it not only talks about winning, but it also talks about the true human spirit. And that is why we as a team strongly stand by the fact that Olympic
Hello, Harita. I think there has been a technical issue from the side of the last speaker. I think her speech stopped at 2:55.
If the judges could just help her, it's the last few seconds. If you could just help her to finish up her sum up.
Yes, Harita, she was about to finish with this house beliefs, just summing up entire thing, the last sentence into.
Is that clear to the participant?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir, may I ask about may I start from the last point?
Judges, would you help, please?
This house will.
Yes, you can start from the last point. You were about to tell that this house believes, just the summing up word that you were about to tell at that time.
And that is why we strongly believe by the fact that Olympic value education should be an important component in the concept of global education to make the world a safe place for mankind.
There, Olympic value education, important component, global education and safe world for mankind, also support democracy in the world, just to make this place a good one to live in. And living good is the joy of living, just as much as we talk about the joy of effort. And the pursuit of excellence will ultimately culminate in that joy of living and living a morally sound life. That's the sort of topic that they were talking about, and it was interesting. We would like to thank the participants from Hillwood College, Kandy, and Sirimavo Bandaranaike Vidyalaya, Colombo. Excellent preparations, and that is the grand finale that we have had. So the debate aspect of that is over, but until those very important results come, in fact, we need to have the results of the consolation final too. We'll give it to you in time to come. There have been a few people who have been involved, and I wonder whether our first guest is available for discussion. Hansika? Okay, here she is. Director of High Performance, National Olympic Committee of Sri Lanka. But before that, the mother of two, was the only female sprinter from the whole of Asia to win an Olympic medal. And that was in the year 2000 in the Sydney Olympics. We'll give a little bit of a local flavor with the mother tongue and talk to Susantika Jayasinghe in Sinhala. Ayubowan, Mulinma, Santosai. මේ ඔලිම්පික් වැදගත්කම විශේෂයෙන් තරුණ ක්‍රීඩක ක්‍රීඩිකාවන්ට කොතරම් වැදගත්ද කියලා ඔබ ගමන උපයෝගී කරගෙන අපිට පවසන්න පුළුවන්.
ඇත්තටම සන්තෝෂයි මාවත් සම්බන්ධ කර ගැනීම. පළමුවෙන් මම ස්තුතිවන්ත වෙනවා. ස්පෝර්ට්ස් වැලියුස් ක්‍රීඩාවේ වටිනාකම ගැන කතා කරනකොට මට හරිම සතුටුයි. මොකද ඒ වටිනාකම තුල තමයි මම ජීවත් වෙන්නේ. මම ලබාගත්ත ලෝක ඔලිම්පික් ඒ ජයග්‍රහණ තුල පුදුමාකාර වටිනාකමක් තියෙනවා. ඉතින් මම ගමෙන් ආව කෙනෙක් හැටියට මට කියන්න තියෙන්නේ ඇත්තට මේ වටිනාකම ලබාගත්තේ මම පුදුමාකාර කැපකිරීමක් කරනවා. මට මතක් වෙන්නේ ගමේ ඉඳලා ආව ගමන මම අවුරුදු උත්සවයේ ඉඳලා ඔලිම්පික් දක්වා ගියා. ඒකෙදි මම ගොඩාක් කැපකිරීම කරා කියන්නේ මම මගේ අම්මයි තාත්තයි අක්කලා තුන්දෙනායි අයියයි එහෙම ගත්තාම අපි හරිය දුප්පත් පවුලක්. ඉතින් ගමක ඉඳලා එහෙම එනකොට ඔලිම්පික් කියන එක මම දන්නේත් නැහැ. ඔලිම්පික් කියලා ක්‍රීඩාවක් දැකලවත් නැහැ. මොකද ඒ වෙනකොට අපේ ගෙවල් වල ටීවී එකක් එහෙම පත්‍රයක්වත් ගේන තරම් පසුබිමක් තිබුණේ නැහැ. ඒ තරමටම මගේ අම්මටයි තාත්තටයි වුණත් ක්‍රීඩාව ගැන හෝ සමාජ ලෝකය ගැන එහෙම අවබෝධයක් තිබුණේ නැහැ. හැබැයි මම විශ්වාස කරනවා මේ වෙලාවේදී හැමෝටම කියන්න ඕනේ වාසනාව පින කියන එකක් තියෙන්න ඕනේ මේ වැලියු එකක් ලබා ගන්නත් මිනිස්සෙකුට. ඉතින් ඒකත් එක්ක මම පියවරෙන් පියවරව මම එකපාරටම නැගිටපු කෙනෙක් නෙමෙයි. ඒ නිසා අද ක්‍රීඩකයෝ ගත්තාම මම දකින වැරදි දෙයක් තමයි මේගොල්ලෝ එකපාරටම දිනන්න හදනවා. ඉන්නේ ඒක ඉස්සලා නවත්තගෙන තමුන් දැනගන්න ඕනේ ඉස්සලාම අපි රටේ පළවෙනියා වෙන්න. මම ඒ කාලේ අපේ රටේ හිටපු ඒ පරණ ක්‍රීඩක ක්‍රීඩිකාවෝ දුවනේවා මම ගමෙන් කොළඹට ඇවිල්ලා ඉස්සලාම දිස්ත්‍රික්කයේ දිනලා අපේ ඊට පස්සේ පළාත දිනලා ඊට පස්සේ සමස්ත ලංකාවේ ඇවිල්ලා ඊට පස්සේ ඒෂියා පළවෙනි ජූනියර් තරගයකට ගිහිල්ලා ඊට පස්සේ තමයි දකුණු ආසියාතික තරගයට ගිහිල්ලා ඊට පස්සේ ආසියාතික තරගයට ගිහිල්ලා ඔලිම්පික් දක්වා යන්න ලැබුණා. ඒකෙදි මම හිතට ගත්ත දෙයක් තමයි මම මේ පුහුණු වීම කියන එක හරියාකාරව කරා. මං ඒක විහිළුවකට ගත්තේ නෑ. ක්‍රීඩාව මම විලාසිතාවක් කරගත්තේ නෑ. ඒ සියල්ලම කරගත්තේ මම හැම දෙයකම ක්‍රීඩාවේ අවබෝධයක් ඇති කරගත්තට පස්සේ. දැන් ළමයිගේ මම දකින්න දෙයක් තමයි අද අම්මලට තාත්තලට ඒගොල්ලෝ කරදර කරන විදිහ දැක්කහම එහෙම මං කවදාවත් කරලා නෑ. මට එහෙම ගත්තහම මම ඔය කියන විටමින් අරන් නෑ කවදාවත්. දුවන්න දාන්න එහෙම සපත්තු තිබිලා නෑ. එහෙම ඔය කියන Nike ඒ වගේ ඒ කියන්නේ අපිට ලොකුවට ලස්සනට ස්පෝර්ට්ස් ඇඳුම් කියලා එහෙම අඳින්න තිබිලා නෑ. කාගෙන් හරි සපද්දයක් ඉල්ලගෙන කාගෙන් හරි මේ ඇඳුමක් ඉල්ලගෙන එහෙම ඇවිල්ලා තමයි ඒ පුහුණුකරු විසින් දෙන ලබන කාලසටහන පුදුමාකාර හිතේ හයියක්. හිතේ හයියක් තිබුණා. දැන් මීටර් 100ට මට මීටර් 30 ඒවා මීටර් 60 ඒවා යම්කිසි ටයිම් එකකට දුවන්න කිව්වහම මම ඒ ටයිම් එක අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම ටච් කරනවා. ඉතින් වෝම් අප් එක කරන්න කිව්වහමත් මම හරියාකාරව වෝම් අප් එක කරනවා. වෝම් ඩවුන් කරන්න කිව්වහමත් මම හරියාකාරව ඒ කූල් ඩවුන් එක කරනවා. ඉතින් එහෙම කරලා තමයි ඇත්තටම ජීවිතේ මේ ලෝක ඔලිම්පික් ජයග්‍රහණ කරා යන්න ලැබුණේ. ඒ නිසා මම අද පරම්පරාවට කියන්නේ ගොඩක් වෙලාවට අපේ රටේ දකින්න දෙයක්. මම ආත්‍යන්තරේ පිටරට උදවිය ගැන කතා කරන්නේ නැතුව අපේ රටේ අපිට අපි සංවර්ධනය වෙමින් පවතින රටක් අපේ රටේ තියෙන අපි හැමෝටම ගොඩක් එහෙම සල්ලි වීදම් කරන්න බෑ. එතකොට අර විටමින් වර්ග අරගෙන එහෙම වෙන්න ඕනේ. අපිට හොද්දට තියෙනවා අපේ එළවලු. අපිට හොද්දට තියෙනවා අපේ රටේ පළතුරු. ඉතින් ඒක නිසා මේ වස විස නැති දේවල් අපි හොඳට කාලා බීලා වතුර හොඳට බීලා ඇඟට ශක්තිය අරගෙන ඒ තමන්ගේ තියෙන හිතේ ධෛර්යය. අනික තව දෙයක් තමයි මම පුදුමාකාර හිතේ හයියක් තියෙන ක්‍රීඩිකාවක්. ඉතින් ඒ කැපවීමත් මගේ අප්‍රතිහත ධෛර්යයත් අදිෂ්ඨානයත් උනන්දුවත් උත්සාහයත් තුළ තමයි මම ජීවිතේ ක්‍රීඩාවේ නියම වටිනාකම ලබා ගත්තේ. ඉතින් ඒ නිසා ඒ වටිනාකම තුළ අද මේ ක්‍රීඩාව values and marketing දෙකම සිද්ධ වෙනවා. මේක මාකට් කරන්නත් මම පුදුමාකාර විදිහට මට පුදුම ආසාවක් තියෙන්නේ. පුදුම ඇම්මක් තියෙන්නේ මේ ක්‍රීඩාව තුළ. ඒ නිසා ඒ වෙනුවෙන් කළ හැකි මම මගේ දෙපාවල මගේ ගතේ හිතේ හයිය දෙකම කැප කරලා මම ලබන්න පුළුවන් උපරිම ජයග්‍රහණ ලැබුවා වගේම මම ක්‍රීඩාවෙන් ඉගෙන ගත්ත ඒ සෑම දෙයකින්ම මේ පන්නරයත් එක්ක මේ අනාගත පරම්පරාවට මම බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා මම මැරිලා යන්න කලින් අපේ රටෙන්ම නැවත ඔලිම්පික් ක්‍රීඩකයෙක් බිහි වෙන්නම ඕනි. ඒ බිහි වෙන්න ක්‍රීඩකින්ට මේ අදහස් උදහස් අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම ආශිර්වාදයක් වේවා කියලා මම ප්‍රාර්ථනා කරනවා. බොහොම ස්තුතියි.
ස්තුතියි ඔබට සුසන්තිකා ජයසිංහ. අපි බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා ඔබ මේ ලබා දුන්න අදහස් උදහස් හැමදෙනාම තරුණ හැමදෙනාම හොඳින් උපයෝගී කරගනි. ක්‍රීඩාව හරහා ඉදිරියට යන්න ඔබ ඔලිම්පික් පමණක් නොවේ ඔබ රටේ සන්නාමයක් බවට පත් වෙලා අවසන් ඒ හරහා ඔබ ලබාගත් අත්දැකීම් ඔබ බෙදා හදාගත්තේ බොහොම ස්තුතියි. අද මේ වැඩසටහන සම්බන්ධ වීම පිළිබඳව ජාතික ඔලිම්පික් කමිටුව වෙනුවෙන් අපි ඔබට ස්තුතිවන්ත වෙනවා. There's somebody else who's joining us. I wonder whether Nikita Guerrero is with us. If that is the case, could you please confirm?
Hello, Haritha. Hello, Mr. Haritha. I'm here.
Yeah, hold on. Nikita, as the Chief Visionary Officer of Lyceum International Schools, I've got this hunch that you have had some Olympic value-based activity in your group. You can explain.
Yeah, actually, we take the sport in two different levels. Actually, for children, we make it a very joyful experience, encompassing all the values that has been spoken about, which I don't want to go over all over again. But what do children fear the most when it comes to the sport? It's the journey that they face on the way home with their parents, to be questioned as to how their performance was, as to what happened, as to why. So that is something that we face, and understanding that with regard to the sport in the school, we have taken approaches in addition to educating the children about sports values and making it a fun experience to educate parents, to start with the education of parents and to give them the idea as to what sport is. It has become this sports at schools level has become sort of a mafia sort of thing in the recent past. So it has to change, and we have, since of late, we have changed that in our schools, because we bought in this, the Olympic values and that concept. We got everybody educated about this. We had posters all over the schools. We created that culture within the schools, and we brought in this debate as well within our schools. So that has indeed brought about the thinking of the child, which is to create a child with good values and to build a good citizen of the future, and to enjoy this sport at school level. Children should be encouraged to do sport, not to do unwanted things. As I think at the beginning, I think someone spoke about getting addicted to usage of various sort of unwanted substances and so on, to pursue shortcuts. And as the lady Jayanti, who climbed Mount Everest, very very correctly said, to do something with purpose. So inculcating all these Olympic values into the school system, I believe, is truly essential. And our children, they spoke very beautifully about this, and has certainly helped our students look at sports in a positive, and our parents also to look at sports in the way I believe it should be looked at for children. Thank you.
Interesting aspect, and you're very much more organized and cohesive, collective in your approaches as international schools. So I think this would rub off on the rest of the international schools. So because your involvement with ISAC in particular is big, and there are so many other sports. So what's the underlying factor, in a few words, that you've learned of this debate?
I mean, I have, it's very, very clear that the NOC is very strongly believes that it should be part of education. The values should be part of the education system, the student education system in the school. A child in her speech brought it up very clearly, and I strongly agree with it. This should be part of education, not just a streamlined mainstream academic content that is delivered in the international school and the national school. But we should make the relevant, I mean, we will, as an individual school, as a private school, we will do that. We have already started to do that. I believe that from within, as a nation, we should start to do that, because even a country like South Africa and Pakistan and India, as was spoken in the debate, and countries such as South Africa was, brought together. Blacks and whites were brought together by a sport such as rugby, and this is how we should be looking at it.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nikita Guerrero, for joining us. We also got Matthew Abesingha. Are you logged on, Matthew? Matthew? Matthew Abesingha, are you with us?
Harita, you need to tell Gopi to taking him into panelist section. He's there as an attendee.
Gopi, if you just make available Matthew Abesingha for us.
Under Kyle Abesingha's name, I think he's there.
I think both of them were available earlier, but they are not at the moment.
Okay. Is Dr. Chung, who is available now?
I think Dr. Miri is there.
Dr. who?
Hi, everyone.
Okay, Ibon, very good. Hold on. Dr. Mi Ryong Chung, PhD, an assistant teaching professor at Florida International University. She received her undergraduate and graduate degrees from Seoul National University, and also worked for the Dream Together Master Program. Her research focus is brand management, sport for development, and peace and volunteers. Currently, critical research centers upon cross-cultural ethnography, a lot of areas which eventually would lead to a safe world and a happy world. Welcome on board, Dr. Chung. Your impressions of...
Oh, thank you. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay. Oh, well, thank you very much to Maxwell and the Sri Lanka Olympic Committee for inviting me to this wonderful and enriching debate. Actually, it is very exciting and absorbing debate. Kudos to the debaters. I think you had a very interesting topic in today's debate. How can Olympic values education influence global education and democracy in mankind? Wow, that's very exciting, actually. And I think, as your debater stated, especially in today's globalized world, we need to think about how can sports, and especially the Olympics and the Olympic values, can take part in this globalized world, right? However, I think we need to realize that the more globalized we become, more marginalized population also emerges, right? And we as a sport people, as educated people, we need to recognize that and make sure that we include those marginalized sectors in this whole process as we talk through. We need to think how the Olympics values education are including the marginalized population through friendship, equality, and respect. And of course, as your debated stated, Olympic values education could and should be an important component for global education, for equality, respect, and friendship. And hopefully you keep on doing this wonderful work. And thank you for all the debaters and the Sri Lanka Olympic Committee. And I think this is the joy that keeps me doing research in sport. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mi Ryong Chang, for joining us and appreciating what we have done and inspiring the participants in particular. So thank you once again. We've got Dr. Randit Rakwal. Are you with us, Doctor?
Yes, good evening.
Good
I'm
evening.
here.
Thank you very much. Please do a self-introduction and carry on.
Yes. Thank you. Good evening. It's actually midnight. For me, it's morning. I usually wake up at 2-3 a.m. So it's almost my wake up time. So I thank Gobi for keeping me awake. And important point first is thank you, the National Olympic Committee of Sri Lanka, for having me here. I'm sorry I did not listen to the other previous speeches, the debates, but today it was impressive. So one word, it's impressive. And so briefly, I'm from University of Tsukuba, the Tsukuba International Sports Academy. So we are a legacy program for Tokyo 2020 under the Sport for Tomorrow initiative. So we are similar to the Dream Together DTM program, master program. And it's nice to see colleagues from Korea now in Florida and Gobi back in Sri Lanka. So that's what we are here. And I'm not an Olympic educator, I work on plants, on medicine, on the brain, sports science and medicine, and management and administration of the program. So I'm both administrator and the educator and a researcher. So it's a complex task for me, but I enjoy it. So sports, of course, I used to play sports. So I look at it from the outside, which is good. So as an outsider, I think out of the box, which is important in dealing with issues, which very nicely, I thank, and I'm very happy to see these young women, debate and come up both the school at Kandy and in Colombo to talk about the Olympic values. they're very nice. It is really nice. So one thing in common, which I heard and which I noted today, is they believe that the Olympic value education or the Olympic values should be an integral part of the system, of the curriculum, grassroots. So that is the key. That is very important. It has to be inculcated and it has to be taught. And that is what these young people are thinking, which is really, really nice. And they have, made their point very clear. Each one of the schools, the teams have come up, safe and democracy. So for me, I would like these young women, young students to really think, what do you mean by a safe world first? And what do you mean by democracy? So that is a thought which each one of these youngsters, of course, including us, have to think and define. That's very important. The words we use have to be defined. So that's one message I would like to give to these brilliant young speakers. They did really well. It's impressive. I am really impressed. And the second point is, I would like to, say if I have 1 minute more, can I speak a few more lines?
Please
Okay.
carry on.
Thank you. So to these young people, so did you get the answers to the questions or issues raised during the debate? So that's very important. It's like research. In research, we ask questions and we answer them. So it's important to go back, reflect, and think, did you answer? Or could you find something new from each other? So that's very important thing. The second point is, are you inspired? Are you inspired to do the next thing in your journey? Because you're going to go out into the world. You're going to universities, maybe professional, maybe relate to policy. So are you inspired enough to do it? Okay. And the third point is, could you identify your keywords, key phrases, key authors, key people in these topics? So it's very important as students to understand or know what is your keyword, what is the key phrase, the key authors, the key topics. So keep that in mind. So that's very important. So these are the three, important points I would like to, address in the first part. The second is, to conclude. So it is important for you, all of you, these young people, to understand, what these words which you raise, which you speak, which you have researched about, what they mean to you. It's important to find your meaning. Because why do I say that? Because it's your future. You have to make the change, not us. We are, sadly to say, usually resistant to change. No disrespect meant to any seniors, but that's how we work. We are resistant to change something. So it's up to you. You are the future. You have to make the change, and it's real change. It's not just saying something. So you have to understand the meaning and take the next step. You have to act. It's a challenge. It's very hard. It's tough, but that has to be done. Very important. And it's not just about OVEP or what it stands for. It is about whether you continue. Continuity, sustainability, that's key. Now, we talk about SDGs as an example. We had MDGs. We have forgotten about MDGs. Now we have SDGs. Maybe there'll be GDGs, the Golden Development Goals. The point is, we have to continue. You have to continue what you speak. You really have to do that. Otherwise, it becomes, a 5-year plan. It goes, we jump to the next one. And the problems, the students raise the issues. Nothing is improving much. So you have to find a way how you get the Olympic values into the system, how to make that change. So you have to continue. And as your, famous sportswoman, Jayanti, she said very nicely, interest, passion is the key. It's same as research. If you're interested, you will keep challenging. If you're motivated, you'll keep challenging. It's opposite to just challenge and you give up. So the interest, passion. So I would really encourage these students, both these schools, to really be interested, be motivated, passion. So that passion must be alive. That will take you to the next step. That's how research works, and that is what my message is. So all the best. Thank you very much. Thank you once again for having me here. And I wish these young people really, really the best. Thank you.
We also would like to thank you, Professor Rakwal. I would briefly give this opportunity to one or two from the panel of judges, 2 minutes each to any one of you who would just want to come and speak a few words about what you've experienced over the last 5 days. Couple of minutes for each.
Yeah, thank you, Haritha. This is Modita. And I would like to very briefly mention about the experience, and I'll sum it up with 5 E's that I have gone through and learned so many things from these students and also the process. Number one is the edutainment, the first E. The education and the enjoyment was absolutely brilliant, because the joy of effort, that is one of the values that we discussed together, and that was there. So edutainment was there, and immensely students will benefit from that. The second one is enhancement. Throughout the round 1, 2, Super 8, semi-finals and up to the finals, we see the enhancement, the progress of each student, and also the schools, the level of their research and all the details and the performance enhancement as well. That's a very good sign with regard to the future. And the third would be the enriching ideas that they brought about the facts and figures from Olympics, the philosophical ideas, the practical aspects of applying Olympic values in our lives. These are some of the enriching ideas that they brought, and actually it helped us a lot to learn new things and also think a few things differently, probably. And the fourth E is actually engagement. The level of engagement is absolutely brilliant. I know that by now most of the students have made new friends online with your fellow schools. I'm not telling the opponent that your brothers, sisters and brothers and fellow sisters and brothers of your schools, and that is a massive engagement that I saw during this program. Not only from the students' part, actually the officials, all the people were together and they were collaborating really well. And finally, is actually a kind request from all the students: execution. So try to inculcate these core Olympic values in your life, wherever you go, whatever you do in your schools, in your circles, because this will change your life. This will change your lives as well. And you can learn from these areas, and you can enhance your performance as well. So be the ambassadors of these core Olympic values and carry the flag of excellence wherever you go. And a big thank you to OVEP 2020. That has been a remarkable achievement. I'm glad to be a part of it. Thank you. Over to you, Haritha.
Thank you, Modita. We can afford another opportunity for one other panel member.
Yeah, I'm Jeevana.
Please carry on.
I was the president. Yeah, I was the president of my school, my university sport council, and represented Sri Lanka from 2 sports during my school and university life. But I have never learned about Olympic values and never thought about sport education. I thought Olympic is just Olympic Games that happens every 4 years, where we get together and conduct a sport festival. When I started to study about Olympic education for this competition, I understood that the Olympic Games mean 5% and balance 95% based on the education value, etc. Thank you very much, Sri Lanka National Olympic Committee, for enlightening me regarding Olympic education and values. Not only that, all school students, thank you very much. I learned a lot through this program. Public speaking, debating, we have learned through Toastmasters, and I have experience. But Olympic values and Olympism, we learn through this program. And I like to study in this area near future as well, because this is very interesting. School children nowadays are so lucky to get the knowledge in your school life. And we have witnessed the performance of all school students. Last but not least, this humble request from the National Olympic Committee. Please continue this valuable program on behalf of our younger generation. Over to you.
One last opportunity for a member of the panel. 2 minutes for you.
Harita, why don't you call, just call Vipula and then Shemal.
Yeah, I'm Vipula. Firstly, I'm very grateful to NOC for making me a part of this excellent program. I enjoyed every bit of this wonderful experience. Secondly, the manner in which this program was conducted. This event was conducted very professionally, far beyond my imagination at the beginning. So I wish to pay a tribute to all those who made this happen. And thirdly, representing the academic field or other higher education, we often discuss how we could bring in values into various disciplines we teach in university. So in simple language, how do we ensure that every module or unit that we teach make a contribution towards humanity and well-being of the society. So this is exactly what all the participants did throughout this debate. I think we should use this as a springboard and take it to a higher level. All I can say is that whatever the steps that NOC is taking towards achieving that, do count on services of people like us. So thank you once again for making me part of this beautiful experience.
Thank you, Dr. Vipula, for joining us. That was very good of you to get involved with Dr. Vipula Vanigasekara. Dr. Shemal Fernando, you're also there, I believe, with all your experience to get on board.
Yes, thank you very much, Harita. It has been an enriching experience for all of us, the judges, as well as the participants. And I congratulate the National Olympic Committee of Sri Lanka for staging this magnificent show to elevate our younger generation to the podium. I thank everyone and congratulate all these students from all around the country for their contributions, and I am sure they will learn the joy of effort. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Thank you very much, Dr. Shemal Fernando, for sharing all those wonderful words. I think we are in a position now to bring you the results of the consolation final. Gobi Sivaraja, as our host, has been doing a lot of work, and I think he's ready, isn't it, Gobi? We are in a position to give the results of the consolation final.
Yes, Harita, go ahead, please.
Yes, the contest was between Chundikoli Girls College of Jaffna and Good Shepherd's Convent of Kandy. $85 points for Chundikoli Girls. $84 points for Good Shepherd's Convent. Couldn't have been any closer. We have had many contests of this nature, just 1 point difference, but that is what was important. We come into the last 4 teams and the participation is so close. So thank you very much to the 2 teams for an excellent performance. So that was the result of the consolation final. Now we have the results of the grand final also coming up. Hillwood College Kandy was able to meet Sirimavo Bandaranaike Vidyalaya of Colombo. $85 points for Hillwood College. 87 points for Sirimavo Bandaranaike. Just 2 points difference with another fantastic effort on the part of the two teams. So that is what this all was going to be. It was going to be a close contest, as we all predicted on this last day, and it has been so in that fashion. Second runners-up, Chundikuli Girls College of Jaffna. Runners-up is Hillwood College of Kandy. Second OVEP Debater 2020. Champions, Sirimavo Bandaranaike Vidyalaya, Colombo. The school named after the first woman Prime Minister in the world. Congratulations to you. It has been a marvelous effort on your part. I'm sure we have all experienced this, and the level of participation on behalf of the teams, supported by the backup teams that have been very much associated with the participants, it has been a great opportunity for all of us. And that is what the National Olympic Committee of Sri Lanka absolutely hoped for, and a technical team that had worked very closely with the eminent panel of judges and the content providers, the academia, who had done a marvelous job. We would all be very happy. The joy of effort comes on with that. And we give this opportunity to Professor B.L.H. Pereira to experience all that and get it going.
Yes, what more to say, Haritha? I think many comments. I was listening to all of them commenting on this whole process and what we have done. I think now we have work. Yes, the debate is over. Yeah, there is another step, giant step in front of us. So make it outcome. So make it happen in schools and families and all over. So that's a task in front of us. We have to look forward in that context. But however, I'm really happy. All 20 schools participated in the program. At least one of the number of students talked about Olympics and Olympic values. They read something. That's something very much unique in this program. And judges, of course, got involved, and we had a wonderful panel of judges, and they did a marvelous job. And the technical team and NOC staff is wonderful. So I'm not going to go ahead into very much detail thing, but there are a lot of guests from outside Sri Lanka, from Asian Olympic Council and various parts of the world. I thank them very much for being a strength for us in driving this whole thing. So once again, wish you all the best, all teams, both teams. I'm so happy. Your contribution is wonderful. Totally, 20 schools, you have done marvelous thing for Olympic movement in this country. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor B.L.H. Pereira. We have another segment that we need to come out with, and that is that the social activation of this program, the integration was very good. So the National Olympic Committee of Sri Lanka has decided on the popularity contest that went on with it. And there are 3 schools that have been earmarked. So we'll start off, Gobi, with the 3rd place as far as the most popular is concerned. That would be Chundikuli Girls College of Jaffna. Second most popular, Sirimavo Bandaranaike Vidyalaya of Colombo. And the most popular of them all, Devi Balika Vidyalaya of Colombo. All because there was very good social integration and social activity on the social media platforms. So congratulations to you too. We take this opportunity now to cordially invite Mr. Suresh Subramaniam, the President of the National Olympic Committee of Sri Lanka. Sir, I'm sure you are with us.
Can you see me? Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, Suresh.
Hi. I heard the debate and I was happy to hear the compliments that was paid to National Olympic Committee. But on my part, I never doubted a minute that my team will do the best for the best of the children, especially at this COVID time. Everybody is in-house, unable to move out. And we were very fortunate that my team was able to do something that kept them occupied, especially last 1 week have been very, very exhausting time. And unfortunately, my secretary Maxwell fell ill this morning, but I'm happy to see him back on the floor. So well done, NOC team. And of course, the judges also had sleepless night, I'm sure, listening, and I'm sure the Olympic value must have been buzzing in their ears, even in their sleep. So it was very well coordinated, very well attended. Technical team, thank you very, very much. And last but not the least, if I was the panelist, I would have been happy to give gold medal for everybody because they were all excellent. We just that somebody was little better today than yesterday. So it was well done. Nobody is best or nobody is lost. All did very, very well. We need to keep it up. The important thing is it is not the winner or not the loser or who won the gold. The important is what we were debating, what we were talking about it, we need to put in practice. That is the most important thing. It is that we have to put things in practice. And also I like to thank the guest speakers, the former Prime Minister, Utumpra, and also His Royal Highness from Saudi, Chang. Then there was a professor from doctor from somewhere, I forget his name. Anyway, thank you very much, each and everyone. Stay safe. We will definitely meet up, and I would like these schools, if you do come to Colombo, feel free to come to the Olympic House. Where our Olympic House is it was turned into a museum as well, so you could see from the day one the Olympics started, all the flags and all displayed at the Olympic House. So it is important that you visit us, and I'm sure my Secretary Maxwell has much more surprises for the winners. Thank you and have a good evening.
Thank you very much, Mr. Suresh Subramaniam, President of the National Olympic Committee of Sri Lanka. This message is going out to the two schools. We wanted you to get involved for a photograph. So maybe have the 4 participants and the teacher in charge from the 2 schools for the photograph. Hansika will organize with you. First, we take the photograph and then we give an opportunity for you to express your views, at least one participant from each school. First, do we have the photos, please, from Hillwood? We need to have the 4 members together with the teacher in charge.
Hillwood team, can you please look at the camera? Hello, team of Hillwood.
Mansika, are you okay with Hillwood?
Actually, Harita, I couldn't take the photo because the video was stuck.
So do we have the teacher in charge there? I don't see 5.
Thank you very much. Okay, wait a second. A very big smile would be very nice. Thank you so much, team, and very good luck. Thank you, Harita. Over to you, the next team.
Yeah, Sirimavo Bandaranaike.
Thank you.
Don't go out. Don't go out. We will want to get your feedback. Sirimavo Bandaranaike, maybe have your team.
I believe that our reserve member is still in the attendees list. And we would appreciate if you can admit her to the panelist.
Yes, yes.
Can the research student from Sirimavo Bandaranaike Vidyalaya please raise your hand in the attendees group?
Teacher, I am being added.
Hello, the team member who is in the attendees group. Can you please raise your hand?
Yes, in.
She is admitted.
Okay. Yes, team. Thank you so much and good luck. Harita, over to you.
Okay, maybe have your feedback from Hillwood College, if it is okay for the teacher in charge to be there, or if not, somebody from the team. We'll give you a couple of minutes.
Yeah, it was a very great experience. We learned a lot through this actually. And like you said, we were actually seeing and hearing Olympic values and things in our dreams as well. And yeah, it was very, very productive and we're actually happy to be here. Thank you so much for the opportunity. And congratulations to the winning team and also Chundikuli for coming third. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. If you agree, it was our pleasure. Is there anybody from Sirimavo Bandaranaike who would view their appreciation on the experience gained and the opportunity that they have got? Sirimavo Bandaranaike?
Yes, we thank very much the National Olympic Committee of Sri Lanka, because last time we gained a lot of experience, and that experience has helped us in a lot of life obstacles that has been coming in the past, and now we are here. And this time we participated actually with the aim of practicing the fair play, joy of effort, and the 5 Olympic values rather than winning. So this win is actually something because we practice 5 Olympic values. And
I'm really happy about our school team's performance, and congratulations to the other teams as well. As a teacher, what I observed is that all these participants are like gems. So this National Olympic Committee has made it aware of these gems to the country. So as teachers, it is our duty and responsibility to cut and polish them and make them shining gems one day where they can shine in our country and make it to the next level in all these with the 5 Olympic values. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Once again, congratulations to you for the ultimate win. And we must thank everybody else for their commitment. And everybody is a winner. That's what this OVEP debater is all about. So thank you very much. We have heard from Professor B.L.H. Pereira in the conclusion. The vision of this was also with Mr. Maxwell De Silva. I can afford a couple of minutes to you, sir.
Yes, Harita, unfortunately, my video, something wrong, it's blocked, so it's okay. I will say a few words. It's doing what we both felt so much passionately about the Olympic values, and going by the UN goals of sustainability in whatever we do. We have been keeping it up to now. So we will take forward my message to all the teams that they need to practice as stated by my good friend from Tsukuba University. It's what matters is yes, now it is okay. What matters is you need to do it. You need to put things in place. Failing which we don't need to become like preachers. And if you practice in a small way, if you want to change the world, change start from you. So each student, each school, if they start changing, then your village will start changing, your city will start changing, then your province, district, then the province, then the country. So if you start in a small way, it's not easy. What I'm saying, it's not easy. Practicing all these 5 values, friendship, fair play. At least we are now forced to practice the distance and washing our hands properly. I think that's I also learn from one of those great guys saying that if you can learn to hate, I'm sure you can learn to love. So same way, that's a habit you need to learn. Good habits is not easy to learn. So you please learn and practice. And I'd like to thank all our guys, everyone who has been helping to make this happen. Thank you very much. I think Hansika will do the word of thanks. Harit, thank you. Thank you for everyone for your time, energy, and particularly the players, I call it. You know the schools participants. It's your event, not mine. So you did well. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Maxwell De Silva. I must also say a very happy birthday to Nadesh and Ranjit, who has been helping me with the audio-video facilities. It's his birthday today. And Hansika Vijayagunasekara, coordinator of OVEP Debater 2020. It's your time for the official vote of thanks.
Thank you, Haritha. A very good evening to all of you. It has been 2 difficult months, I would say, for the National Olympic Committee of Sri Lanka because the OVEP debater resumed its course after 3 years against a challenging background where a global pandemic impedes us from coming together, actually. However, the team Sri Lanka, NOC Sri Lanka did not want to back down. We adapted ourselves to conduct this year's OVEP debater virtually. And I must say there were some complications where there were when everyone were not physically present and what could not see what is actually going on behind the curtains, but we adapted and overcame every challenge to make this program a huge success. I would say, I believe that's what counts at the end. On a side note, I would like to inform every participant that this is not a program that we do for mere entertainment or trivia. We incorporate our heart, soul, and countless hours for this endeavor to be a success. And we have a vision, an objective as an organization to move forward, evolve along the way, and we have planned for not just 1 or 2, 3 years, but for decades. So thank you very much, the Ministry of Education, for giving us the permission to continue this program to a huge success. And I would like to thank the Secretary General of the NOC Sri Lanka, Mr. Maxwell De Silva, for overseeing this entire operation with kind words and constant nagging, I would say. Mr. B.L.H. Pereira for being the core of this program with supervision, instructions, and objectives. And I would like to offer my heartiest gratitude to the President of the National Olympic Committee of Sri Lanka, Mr. Surej Subramaniam, and all the other executive members of the National Olympic Committee of Sri Lanka. And we were able to garner international and local sports enthusiasts this year, and they were able to provide some unique insights to the program, and therefore I would like to extend my warmest gratitude to them as well. And I also would like to thank for the tremendous support extended by the judges, namely Ms. Harshini Pereira, Mrs. Lakshika Madhushani, Mr. Samira Vijayagunaratna, Mr. Srinath Vijayatunga, Dr. Vipula Vaningasekara, Rear Admiral Dr. Shemal Fernando, Mr. Modita Sendanaika, Mr. Jeevana Gamage, Mr. Kapila Jeevanta, Mrs. Buddhi Patiraja, Dr. Rohan Tatukorala, Mrs. Ramya Shivakumar, and Ms. Srinaz Kenny. And moreover, Ms. Eranga Fernando, who has been very assistive in editing the topics under the guidance of Mr. B.L.H. Pereira as well. And thank you so much for the immense support. And many thanks to Haritha Pereira as well for the amazing job that you have done throughout the program. And finally, I would like to thank Gobi, Charuni, Dinki, Gayatri, Kandula, Pavitra, Sachinta, Shavinya, Naduni, Gayani, Ranjit for being the ground team, whom without the program would be limited to a mere paper, I would say. And it's their sleepless nights and commitment that made this program a huge success. And with the hope of unveiling another chapter of OVEP Debater, I would wind up my speech. Thank you so much, Haritha. Thank you so much.
Very much, Hansika. So the National Olympic Committee of Sri Lanka was in a journey pursuit of excellence, and they would experience the joy of the effort and upholding fair play. We say a very good night. Ayubowan.